Hello, everybody. Welcome back to Kimby Originals Studio. Today, I am having fun. There's no rhyme, no reason about what we're doing. I took a piece of Yupon paper or Yupo paper. This is it. And let's see, this is a 9 by 12, I believe. And I cut it into 4 pieces. And so we're gonna have some fun doing some abstract florals. And we're gonna use China marker. I don't know where I got this, probably the art supply store. But any China marker, it's green, it's oily. And this is black. And so I'm going to, you can go out in the yard and pick a flower or something from nature that you think is really cool. And then come back and let it just be your inspiration. So yesterday I went out to down east and we just saw some of the coolest stuff. And so I came back with kind of like my idea of like what I wanted to do. And so, I mean, these are the most bizarre looking things that I've ever seen. And I'm sort of taking liberty with it, actually. They didn't really look just like this, but I knew I wanted to do an abstract floral piece today, a mini. So that's what I'm going to do. And when you're trying to figure out your composition, even though this is totally fun and you're just hanging out and doing something totally abstract, you still need to think about like, where is your eye going? Where's the artist? Where's the eye? What do you need to like take it out and do things? So, the next thing would probably be to take something this way or maybe put something in the middle. But actually, I'm going to do something little. Like maybe there's one that like broke or he's drooping because he needs some water. So we're going to have it down here. And that way, what this is doing is it's getting the observer's eye. It's with the lines, you're shooting up, and then you got to get something that's going to, whether it's color or it's a shape, to get your eye back down to cover the whole page. So we're going to have some fun with some color, and we're going to have some fun with these shapes. So I think for the most part, I think I'm like really good with how this is looking. This one has some leaves. This one's got a few leaves. Let's put one right there. So I may come back to this, but here we've got it going on. All right, so the next thing I'm gonna do is I'm gonna get some, Yupo paper is like really slick. So if you had alcohol markers, those are always gorgeous. I don't have any here at the beach. So I think I'm gonna use gouache. So I'm gonna choose some gouache colors and I'll be back. Actually, before I choose the gouache colors, got a little bit ahead of myself there. I'm gonna go ahead and draw all 4 of these so that when I start applying color, I can apply it to all of my pieces. So this flower is just gonna be a random shapes. And I mean, it's just gonna be fun, free, flowy. I had a garden this year at the beach, and the vegetables have been unbelievable. That's what I should be doing, abstract, because I have never had so much produce. I've made pestos and, oh gosh, with my herbs, I've made just so many different things I didn't even know were a thing. I dried oregano and put it in my jar. I mean, it's just been the coolest summer. I've made salsa, and I've made, okay, so this one it's a little less fun and kind of freeing, but, you know, it's pretty, maybe. I don't know, color might add a lot to this. I may just want to like stick some crazy thing out here. Oh, I don't know. Okay, well that's two. I'm not as crazy about this one. Maybe color will make it pretty special. All right, now my next one is, let's see, let's do something really different. Let's do, do it over here. Anyway, so I really need to be doing some herbs and some vegetables. That should be my next video. Summer memories of gardening, because wow. Okay, when I'm sitting here talking to you about composition, should we put something up here and go down with something in the middle? That's expected. Ooh, or maybe we're gonna lay this baby, another one of these, and we'll lay it sort of down. It's fun to play with like positive and negative space. You know, what am I gonna do with the negative space here? Does it need to have stuff, or is it cool not to have any? How can you, you know, keep the eye moving? Ooh, I like that it's in the corner. I think I'm gonna leave this one. This one's gonna be a test. Okay, we have one more. This one, what are we gonna do? I think I really do want it to be a little more abstract. So this time I'm going to focus on one flower, I think. I love it when those flowers have all the little bits in the middle. Okay, and remember, y'all, it's all about shapes. It's all about where your eye is going, how you're going to get it there. Does it need to make sense? Not necessarily. So we've got one. I kind of want more than just this little thing. One. Let's see. What if we like have like a little okay. And this one's getting a little bit confusing. But again, when you add the paint, you know, is that going to make a difference? We'll see. Okay, so I don't know if you can tell, this is 2 things happening, but we're off to get some, let's see. Hopefully you can see all 4 of these. We're going to go get some swatches. We're going to go get some paint. So I'm going to use my Turner acrylic gouache. If you've painted with me before, you've seen this. Somebody gave it to me. I love it though. I love gouache. It's in between acrylic and watercolor. And you know, I love watercolor and acrylics. So I'm going to get out my greens today. I have this permanent light green and I have a deep green. And we have a permanent green. And then we have this sort of Viridian. It's like a dark tealy green. So we're going to get the greens, and I'm also going to get some ochre out because that will, I can add to it to make it lighter or darker. And so I'm going to get my green on first. All right, so I've got my paint, the 4 different greens in my ochre, and I got this one. And I decided to go ahead and get in all my greens. And then I can really have fun with some of the color. Y'all, the stems do not have to be the same color. As you know, when you go out and pick up flowers, who knows? You know, some of them are half dead. Some of them are just sprouting and beautifully green. So enjoy adding the color. I don't even wash in between. I just let the colors all come together. I'm using this brush that's kind of big for this, but I kind of wanted it to be a little bit big. So I'm getting my stems in and I'm going back. Hopefully you can see this. And I come back and I just add. Now this paper and this texture type paint, it just is, it's like butter. I mean, it's like putting butter on bread because they really like each other. I can't explain it, but it's really cool. I thought I loved the alcohol markers the best, but I'm thinking this is pretty cool actually. Okay, so this is this one. I think, well, let's try it. I was going to say I was going to get a smaller brush for my leaves, but maybe I won't. Okay, so the goal here for me is I am going to I don't mind if the black is showing. I don't want it to look necessarily like a color book, but I think it kind of has a little bit of a design element to it that I don't normally have. If I do leave a little bit of the black showing, I kind of like it, but you do you. The point is to have a good time doing it. Okay, so this one is kind of out there. Oh, I've still got that. And you can see there's no rhyme or reason as to what green I used or did not use. I just had fun and blended it in. All right, let's move over to the next one. We'll slide this one over to dry. So you can see I got all the greens down. So now we're going to choose our color palette. And of course, I didn't realize that my palette was outside of the camera. I hate it when that happens. But anyway, I have pink and red and some white. So I'm using warm colors. And then I've got that yellow. And whenever I have warm colors, I often like to offset it when I'm doing florals with some cool colors. So we have a cobalt blue. Of course, you can make it lighter by adding the white, but I love some aqua. You can see that this light blue tube is very used. And you could take the red and mix it with the blue and make a purple, but I really, really, really like this deep violet that this particular company has. So I'm going to use some violet. Okay, so I talked to you guys a little bit after I apply the color as to why I apply what I do. So we are back to the first one we started with. And I've cleaned up. So when you're trying to clean up some of your messy lines, I get my brush really wet. And then I come back and just sort of, not to make it so hairy in places, and just add a little bit. I'm going to leave some of these black lines because I think they're kind of cool. And that was my whole point in doing them in the beginning. So, okay, so we have complementary colors. We've got the green stem with the red and the pink as complementaries. So now what am I going to do on the top? That is the question. I'm kind of thinking to throw a curveball in there and do them yellow. Oh, all right. So we're going to go in. I'm going to go from light to dark. It's paint, right? We can go over it. So it's not a big deal. And it's all about play today. All right. So I'm going in light. I've decided to do these with the lighter color so you can see and I may come back and go over those lines actually. So I think they're kind of cool. It's all about that mark making. All right, and then I think I'm gonna do like a dark reddy orange right here. Let's see. It's hard to fit everything in so you guys can see it and I can still work without feeling encumbered. All right, so this is oh my goodness, I stuck my finger in the green. Lovely. Then let's do it. I need to make one over here so we can just create one over there. Okay, and then we're going to use the yellow, the dark, the common yellow, I think, to do the little bits at the top. I want more depth, even though it's abstract. I really do want it more depth in here. I'm going to come back and add in some of that yellow. That red was not dry. Let's get that red back in there with that pink. Okay, let's walk away from this one for a second. And And let's bring in that purple we had. So with this purple, I really wanted to add in some pink. So I think I'm going to do, I want it to be, yes, I want the pink to be in here. Okay. So I'm going to fill in the pink over here. And again, you know, they're sort of in the same family. That pink and that purple. It's a warm feeling, even though purple has blue in it, which is a cool color. Okay. But you can see how, you know, even in abstract pieces, there is some thought that goes into the composition, the colors that you choose, the vibe you're trying to get out there. Because you want, I mean, even when you're just playing around, I still want somebody who looks at this to have like a feeling, right? I don't want it to just be pretty. All right, let me clean up some of this green before I decide what in the world to do with. It's just hairy in places. And that was from using that brush that I chose to use, which I knew when I was using it was probably not smart, but okay. All right, so now we're over here with these weird little wispy things. What am I gonna add? What color? All right, so the complementary color to purple is yellow. So I think over here, I'm gonna pop in some yellow for these little wispy bits. And I may tone them down with a little bit of white. Because I feel like even though it's heavy floral on the right side of the paper, when you use the complementary colors, it helps balance it a little bit. Your eye doesn't go crazy. And actually, I'll bring in some white, which you can, you know, it's kind of like a negative. You're creating like a negative space. All right, let's walk away from this and come back. All right, so this one we did already, and this was, you know, complementary colors. So the question on this one is, does this balance that? And off the top of my head, I'm thinking that it does, but I still feel like it's missing something. And I'm not sure what that is yet, so I'm gonna walk away from it. And that takes us to the fourth one, which is this little bit. So instead of this being complementary, I really have thought about this whole time. I really wanted these little bits up here, I wanted them blue. The whole time, that's what I chose the blue for. So I am gonna add the blue bits in and come back. I just think it's so pretty when you have the blue and the yellow. All right, so I like the blue bits there. And I think this yellow flower needs some power behind it, so we're going in with the bright pink and pulling it in. And it's okay if it like seeps around, I don't care. I might even pull in some red. Okay, so I'm gonna walk away from this. All right, I'm coming back to this one. I have decided that I'm going to do little bits of crazy green bits behind here. And I think, number one, it looks crazy because it looks like it should be underwater. But the floral looks like it needs to be like, you know, in the ground. But that gives me just enough judge that I think it's complete. So this one's done. So I've looked at all of these and I've got the camera in sort of close, so I can't really get them all in for you to see at once without fixing the camera. But let's get back to the first one that I felt like was finished. And what I've decided is to use some, remember I told you when we started this video, it's gonna be fun. So I'm gonna finish it off with oil pastels. My brand that I like is, well, I have several actually. It's called Mungayo. Anyway, these are oil pastels, but they're very buttery, very yummy. And I just have this small set with me today. So I'm gonna take some of this green, and with that green that I added, I'm gonna just go in there and have a little bit of fun. So I enhance each one a little bit with a different color, and I bring back those black marks in the first one. And, you know, when I step back, I really like it a little bit better. So this concludes our fun day, guys. We used oil. We started with oil with this China marker, and we ended with oil pastels. And in between, we had some fun with some gouache. You know, some of them are better than others. I love the one that I started with, which I knew I was gonna love. This one, yeah, take it and leave it. This one, not so much. And I love this one. I love how the bottom, the positive and the negative space. So it just goes to show, take a little time, have some fun, and you never know what you might create. Join me next Wednesday for another fun activity. Have no idea what we might be doing, but I promise it'll be creative and it'll be fun. Do a thumbs up if you enjoyed this video. Make sure you subscribe. See you next week, people.